What's up, guys? I was thinking about trying to make time to do a video after the Jets game, but like many people, you figure that it's like the Jets and like it's not like a real litmus test to see like where everything and everybody's at. But so I really just sat back and really I sat back in the preseason too, but now I'm just sitting here looking at this meltdown. I keep rewatching the highlights, just trying to not lose my mind, which is very dumb to watch something that makes you lose your mind, hoping you don't lose your mind. But the Dolphins beat the Ravens 42-38. They allowed Tua Tagovailoa to throw for 469 yards and like 6 touchdowns. He had like 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Tyreek Hill caught 10 for like 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jay Luato caught like 11 for like 171 and 2 touchdowns. It just looked like they got whatever they wanted at the end of that game. Like the defense completely collapsed, and it's mind blowing that you'll still see people try to really put it on Lamar at that point when it's like there's not much else that could be done. The only thing that I felt like Lamar came up short in this game was there was one pass that looked like they could have been picked, but it wasn't. And then like that fumble on the goal line, I don't know if that was his fault or the lineman's fault. I keep trying to zoom in. I can't really tell. I know I see a lot of people say Lamar's the one that dropped it. I can't tell. But those are the only areas where it looked like he actually is the one that messed up. Like other than that, like I don't know really what else you could ask for in this game. Like he threw for 318. He completed 72% of his passes. He rushed for 119 yards. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I don't know. Like he was clearly doing everything in the pocket people said he couldn't do. He was squeezing it into tight windows. I like that pass to Demarcus Robinson for the touchdown, and Mark Andrews that almost was a touchdown, but they said he was short like a yard. Like I don't know what else could you really ask for. I don't know if there's been a quarterback to throw for 300 and rush for 100 yards in history. And then also he broke Michael Vick's record for most 100-yard rushing games by a quarterback, because now he has 11. I mean, the game was off to such a good. I feel like I'm all over the place now. The game was off to such a good start. Like it was such a good start. Like right off the bat. Devin Duvernay has a kick return touchdown. And I'm really excited about how Devin Duvernay is playing so far. Like, hopefully he proves people like me wrong. Like, because again, like I said before, I'm not rooting against these guys necessarily. I'm just not a big fan of a lot of the guys on the receiving core. So hopefully he keeps up like the trajectory that he's on right now on kick return, on special teams, and as a receiver, because I think he played well in the Jets game too. Obviously, Bateman had another solid game with another big touchdown. I feel like they definitely should target Bateman a little bit more, but maybe they're trying to ease into it. I mean, he had a decent amount of targets. He had 7 targets, but I feel like Bateman showed already that at this point he needs to be in that 10 target range. Like there's no reason to not target him 10 times a game. Yeah. Something else that I thought was really interesting is that as of right now, it's only 2 games in, but as of right now, Rashad Bateman is leading the league in yards per reception with 27.8. Obviously, it's because of like the two big touchdowns he's had in back-to-back weeks. But I would really like to see him keep this up. Obviously, like he's clearly trying to like really establish himself and show that he could be just as dangerous a deep threat as Hollywood, arguably a more dangerous deep threat as Hollywood. Because even though Hollywood is faster than Rashad Bateman is more physical. And I'm more inclined to believe that he's willing to break tackles and break free to get more big touchdowns than Hollywood. who's more of a, I guess maybe you could say more of a finesse player. Like he to this day, obviously, even in Arizona, Hollywood, he doesn't seem to really like contact like that. And Andrews had a good game too. 11 targets, 9 receptions for 104. This running game is non-existent without Lamar Jackson. Like when you don't include Lamar Jackson's yards, these running backs have 36 yards. Like this is laughable at this point. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, we don't have JK or Gus back. At this point, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if we could say for a fact that putting JK and Gus in is gonna revive this running attack, man. I don't know. Hopefully it does, but at this point, I don't really see that as being the case. But again, we'll see. Hopefully they come back soon. At least hopefully JK comes back soon and proves me wrong on that. But right now, this is just looking embarrassing. Out of like 36 yards. It's so ironic to me. Somebody made a comment. I think it was on like an engraving video or something. Somebody made a comment that I thought was like perfect. Because they was pointing out the irony that you have so many Ravens fans that are still stuck in that old paradigm where they think that you need to rely on running the ball and playing quote-unquote hard-nosed defense in order to get the job done, and that's who we are, and blah blah blah. And as of right now, we have the worst defense and the worst running attack in the NFL, or at least top 5 worst. Like just it's just embarrassing. Like I read the other day that going back to last season, in the past 19 games, this defense has allowed 5,550 passing yards, which is the most yards allowed in the NFL. It's not even surprising. I remember last year in the 2 games we played the Bengals, Burrow had like 525 yards one game, and I think he had like 430 the other game, something like that. And now obviously we just seen what Tua did. We got to play Josh Allen in like another week or 2 or whatever. I don't think they're gonna I don't think the defense is gonna do well against them. I think we'll still win that game, but I really don't believe that the defense is gonna stop Josh Allen. I think we're gonna win that game by the skin of our teeth, thanks to a combination of like Lamar, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews, and maybe somebody else like Devin Duvernay. On one area that obviously the offense did come up short was definitely 3rd down, obviously 3 of 10. And they kept trying to go for it on 4th down. I can't blame them, but hindsight is 20/20. So now we're just looking back, and you definitely should have taken some more field goals. Marcus Williams had a cool game. I think he had like 2 picks in that game. But even with that, like, this defense is pathetic, man. Like that, like we got former all pro corners in Marlowe and Juice Man. They getting smoked. Kyle Hamilton, the guy that people told me was gonna be the next Ed Reed, is out here getting smoked. And I meant to do a video on this. This is why comparisons are dangerous. Cause y'all said Kyle Hamilton was finna be the next Ed Reed. That didn't look like Ed Reed to me. Like that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody who, and who, as of right now, at least for the first 2 games of the season, he's been a non-factor. Like just being honest. Like I don't. Hopefully he does better and really finds his own way. But as of right now, he's looking like a non-factor. And we could have used that pick on somebody like George Pickens or Jahan Dotson, who, especially in the case of Jahan Dotson, is looking really good right now on the Commanders. But, I mean, this is, like, why is Justin Houston our leading sack? Why is Justin Houston leading us in sacks? Well, I think he's leading us in sacks. I know he got, like, 2 sacks so far or something like that. That's inexcusable in my opinion. Like, come on, man. You spent all of this money, all of the money and resources y'all put into defense, and we have what looks like a trash secondary. and a defensive line that doesn't intimidate anybody. And our best pass rusher is a guy who's like a million years past his prime. Like that's that. What is happening to Owe? Like where are these guys at? Like all of the. And then the thing that's ironic is a lot of people next year, whether we win a Super Bowl or not, I think we still have a shot, obviously. But, you know, whether we win a Super Bowl or not, next year in the draft, you're still going to see people who still haven't learned their lesson, and they're still going to say, we need this on defense and we need to draft that on defense. Y'all have to let go of the old paradigm. Defense barely matters. It matters, but it barely matters. You need an overpowered offense and a defense that's just good enough to get stops when necessary. That's all you need in 2022. The Dolphins have an overpowered defense. An overpowered offense. They have an overpowered offense and a defense with some stars on it that they're good enough to get stops when necessary, like on third down when we played them. That's all you need. But half of the Ravens fans, they're still stuck in the year 2000 where they think you need to build some Hall of Fame level defense, which Eric DeCosta is clearly not capable of doing. And even if he was, it wouldn't be worth the trouble anyway. You have to let that go. All the money in free agency and draft picks that have been wasted on defensive players, and what is it bringing you? You drafted Patrick Queen when you could have had T. Higgins, and now for the past 2 years, all I've seen is Ravens fans talk about how much they don't like Patrick Queen. Come on. You drafted Odafe Owe when you could have looked to draft a receiver or an extra offensive lineman or something. And now a bunch of people, they're turning their backs on Odafe Owe. Like you keep pouring. Like, look, it's 2 games into Kyle Hamilton's career, and there's already some people. It's too early, but there's already some people saying that he's a bust. Like you're pouring just a ridiculous amount of resources into getting defensive players in an era where defense doesn't matter. Your defense just needs to be good enough to get stops when necessary. That is it. And the ironic thing is, this Ravens defense for the past at least 2 years isn't good enough to get stops when needed. Everybody could just have their way. We're about to go play the Patriots. I better not see Mac Jones' mediocre ass go out there and get 400 yards. I'm gonna be hot next week if somehow Mac Jones goes out there and throws for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. There is no way on earth this defense should allow there's no way on earth anybody should be allowing the Patriots offense to go off like that. So I still think we're gonna bounce back next week. I think the Ravens are gonna beat the Patriots I predict 30-17. But I do think the offensive line might struggle a little bit more next week. I think Matt Judon might get 1 or 2 sacks. But I mean, funny enough, the offensive line didn't do too bad against the Dolphins. Like, they didn't do too bad. Like, Lamar actually didn't get sacked, and he didn't really take a whole lot of hits. So I think that we should still beat the Patriots pretty easily. I saw a story like a day or 2 ago saying Lamar was wearing like a sleeve or a compression sleeve or something on his throwing elbow. So hopefully that's like not anything serious. I wouldn't imagine it's anything serious, because they said he had limited practice, but I still think that he'll probably be ready to go on Sunday. So again, let me know what your thoughts are on that game. Do you think that somehow that was on the offense that they melted down? I don't think it was, because again, even at the end of the game when the Dolphins came back, they still had a drive down the field that got them a field goal, and then they blew the field goal lead. But I don't know, man. What do you think is gonna happen next week against the Patriots, and what score do you think is gonna be in the Patriots game? Let me know in the comment section below.